don't get used to that. That was crazy. Hey guys, it's me Blue and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. July was crazy. I kind of didn't want to make any kind of video in July, mostly because there were so many voices screaming and I didn't want to add mine. I didn't want to like add to the noise, and I certainly didn't want to make my voice heard over those who needed to be heard. So I took a break. On top of that, it's been like with the end of school year and everything else, and of course with COVID, my kids are out of school. So finding a time to video, finding a time to do anything is ridiculous. So that, yeah. So that's mostly why I didn't film in July. June. This is July. Oh my gosh, Blue. I don't even know what month it is anymore. I'm giving up. I don't, like, irregardless is a word in the dictionary now, and I kind of don't want to live on this planet anymore. That being said, excuse me, this week is Reading Rush, and I'm super stoked for that. And mostly because the Reading Rush is the reason I started my channel in the first place, which again, kind of a bummer because I didn't really get to celebrate my anniversary because I didn't want to like make a video in regards to that, like the political stuff that's going on. So I've stayed off Twitter. I've stayed off, I've just kind of just taken a break. I've just needed to step back from a lot of social media. So with the Reading Rush coming up, I finally get to step back in, and I get to have some fun, and I get to read some really cool books, and I get to have, of course, take 2 hours to make coffee. Oh my gosh, that it seems like a 2-minute sequence, but in that 2-minute sequence, I had to, I started filming me getting the water and then immediately had to wash my dishes. And then I started filming me getting coffee and then immediately realized I have to clean my counter. And then I had to, get the spoons and everything else. And then immediately realized everything is in my dishwasher. So I had to wait. So it was just like, that took way too long. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is my TBR, and I've already started reading some books, and some of them I'm not really sure about, so we'll have to see what happens. It's going to be interesting for sure. So to start with, the first prompt is a book with a cover that matches your birthstone, and this is the one that I kind of started reading, and it's kind of interesting, and it's called The Lost Girls of Camp Forevermore, and I'm pretty sure this has been on my TBR list now for close to 2 years. It's just the cover keeps coming back and it keeps coming past my feed, and I'm just like, I really want to read that. So I'm super excited. It's just a group of 5 girls and kind of what happens to them in the aftermath of what happens to them after this summer at camp. So I'm super excited. I'm getting into that one. I'm not as far as I look. I'm only about like 10 or 12 pages in, but there's that one. And you can see very blue on the cover. The other option I had for blue for my birthstone cover is called Ironside. Now this was recommended to me by a friend of mine, and I know it doesn't look blue, but there are, like, I'm blue sapphire, but there are also black sapphires, and technically sapphires come in a range of colors. So even there is some blue on there and there is some black, so that's another option for that one. And again, it's one that's been on my TBR for a while. Okay, so the next prompt starts with the word the. Now I had a lot more of those than I thought I did, including of course the Lost Girls of Camp Forevermore, the Rose Society, The 100-Year-Old Secret. So I've got like a handful like just sitting around me. So that is like lots of options for the in my little collection here. Oh yeah, The Martian is another one. So there's lots to do in that series, in that kind of section. Speaking of The Martian, we have to read for the third prompt a book that's inspired a movie that you've already seen. I haven't seen The Martian yet, but I can. We're in talks at the library about maybe setting up a which is better, the book or the movie, and then just putting the two side by side and let people take both. So we thought that would be a kind of a cute idea. But I can get The Martian easily. I can see it on Netflix or whatever. But that's one option. Another option that kind of threw me that I was thinking about. This is my daughter's book, and it's just a cute little graphic novel, but it's Descendants. And my girls and I are obsessed with Descendants. We just think it's like a really cute series, and I've seen them all probably close to 100 times because, like I said, my kids are obsessed. And so yeah, so there's that one. I also have Mary Poppins. I'm pretty sure that's up in my kids' room right now, but that's another option for me to read, or I suppose reread. And the other one that I was thinking of is BFG by Roald Dahl. I don't like a lot of Roald Dahl books. I read Witches when I was 12 or 13, and I think I had nightmares for a good couple of months, and I was like, I'm not reading anything by Roald Dahl ever again. And of course I've read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I've read Matilda, and I've read The Glass Elevator, so I have read other books by him, but I don't know about BFG. I haven't read that one yet, so I'm super excited by that one. And so I've already started that one, so we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, the next is The First Book You Touched. And the first book I touched, I went over and I immediately touched my Harry Potter books. And I'm trying to kind of step away from the Harry Potter books. Like, I do have to read them for another reading challenge. And I know that a friend of mine is reading them all, so I might loan them out, but we'll have to see. But I kind of decided not to read those, and the one I touched actually is not a complete book, so I'm like, I can't read this because some of the pages are missing. So it's technically the second book I touched, and it of course is Serafina, and it's one that I've wanted to read for a while, and I think I brought it up during another one, which is like I had to have a really pretty cover or something, and it was just like this really gorgeous, or it had, I don't know, mythical beast. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what the readathon was. But Seraphina has been on my list for a couple times. Been on a couple of readathon lists, and I've never actually met it through it. So I'm hoping this week, I have not picked really thin books. I have picked a lot of really thick books. But yeah, I'm hoping that one makes the cut. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Read a book completely outside your house. I have been at the library a lot more, and of course I can always, well, not in the last 3 days, it's rained nonstop. But I'm okay with that because we honestly need the rain. Highlight of living in farm country, we need the rain. But there's lots of books here that I can read. I've got, I'm reading the Redwall series. I'm super excited for them. Like, I've never thought about the perspective from like the rodent animal world. I don't like mice. I don't like mice. I'm sorry, I don't like mice. I don't like rats. I had a bad experience. But yes, but reading them is really interesting, and I know a friend of ours is doing a comic that has to do with like kind of the mouse world again, so it's really I think it's like cross between a mouse and Batman. So it's kind of an interesting take. So there's that. But yeah, I could pretty much read any of these that I've shown you. And I've got more over there, and I've got more on my shelf. And this is what happens when you're a bibliophile. The penultimate book is a book in a genre that you've always wanted to read more of. Now, I've never thought about reading more of this because I'm not a huge, I don't want to say I'm not a huge romance fan. I like romance when it's written realistically and when it's written well. And so there are a couple that I've enjoyed. Harley Quinn is not on that list. Most of the romance that are listed are not on my list. So, but I do have this one, which is called A Little Something Different. And I'm pretty sure I requested this from the library in February because I needed a book with a heart on the cover. And this came up. So it's 14 viewpoints, one love story. It piqued my interest. Somebody must have recommended it to me, and I requested it, and it came in. So super stoked. We'll have to see what happens. I have no idea. It's going to be interesting. It's supposed to be a romance. I don't know. I'm not into romance, but it is a book. It is a genre that I'm not opposed to exploring. And yeah, you know, if they're well written and they're well developed and the characters are good, then it's maybe something that I wouldn't mind exploring more of. So that's for that. And finally, I need a book that's set in a different continent than where I live. The problem with that is most of the books, if they're not in North America, like I live in Canada, if they're not in North America, they're usually not in this world. Like, for example, Serafina does not take place in like our Earth. It takes place in like a mythical world. And of course, you know, same, takes place in space, not exactly on Earth, you know. So some of them, and so this was a little bit of a challenge for me. This was more of a challenge for me than some of the other ones. And so the one that I picked is, it kind of flashed past earlier, and that's this. And it's just a little simple, it's a middle grade. It's the Sherlock Files. And I think they're like the Sherlock, yeah, they're related to Sherlock Holmes. They're twins. And they kind of find out that they're related to Sherlock Holmes, and then they just solve the mysteries. Which, of course, I love me a good mystery. So I kind of like that. I'm excited to see what the 100-year-old mystery, 100-year-old secret is. But yeah, so that takes place, of course, in London, which is where Sherlock Holmes is from. And yeah, so that will probably be that prompt. I have a couple of others, like, oh my goodness, what was it called? There was something about the Secret Garden, or not the Secret Garden. Oh my goodness. I'm pretty sure it's been on like 5 or 6 prompts, but it takes place in Australia. I don't remember. Anyway, if not this one, we'll find another one. There's lots of opportunities, I'm sure, around me that I could probably pick something up. But like I said, like not everything takes place either in this realm or on this planet. So it's kind of, it's a little bit iffy. So we'll have to just see what happens. So that being said, this is already turning out to be a much longer video than I anticipated, but I'm glad to be back. I'm hoping to print, oh my gosh. I'm hoping to post more this week, of course, with the reading rush and everything. I keep wanting to call it the Booktubeathon, which is what it was when I started. But the reading rush it is, and I keep meaning to post more videos. So yeah, super excited by that. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. So support your local library if you can. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.